Greetings, my loved ones, and welcome to Affirmed Peace. I am your hostess, Rebirth, aka Tim B. We are here again on another beautiful day, another wonderful podcast, and I'm so excited because we have another special guest, but we'll get into that soon. But we have to do our mental health check-in questions always. You can go ahead and journal them if you like. You can put them in the comments. You can DM me if you want to express yourself about anything that is being discussed or that you would like to share. Please feel free to do so. So, as always, the first question: how are you feeling today? Is there anything from yesterday that is bothering you today? Second question: what thoughts are running through your mind? Third question: how does your body feel? And the fourth question, which is my favorite one: what or who do you need to support your mental health today? So, think about those while we're going through the podcast. At the end of the session, me and my lovely guests will be answering those questions as well. So, without further ado, Miss Pat, would you go ahead and introduce yourself to the wonderful loved ones out there, please?
Well, my name is Catherine Adams. Everybody calls me Cat, Mama Cat, Miss Cat. Just depends, I guess, on when you met me, how you know me, and what I speak into your life, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, I've been through a lot. So to know that you start a podcast with these mental health check-ins is amazing. Everybody should probably do them, even though a lot of us don't, because we just don't know how, or we don't realize that we do need to check in with ourselves. I know that we became fast friends when I met you when we were doing filming. I loved your spunk and your vivaciousness and your smile, and you just have a super, super presence about you. And it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard to see that there was something different that people can overlook. I think that's what I loved about you. You know, you did everything that you did full bore. So I know we've been trying to do this podcast for what, 2, 3, 4, 5 months now? I don't know. But you know, you had things that you were doing that were important to you. And that's what needs to happen. And I'm not one of those that goes, "Oh no, you gave me that." No. Tam gets to do Tam, and Tam gets to do what's important to her. And if that fits into our schedules, then we're great. If it doesn't, then we back up, we pivot, and we do something else. And, you know, that's a hard pill for people to swallow,
It really
really, if you
is.
think about it. Yeah. I've been through a lot. I'm 55. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I am. I am 55. Yeah. Yeah. And I know I don't look like what I walk through. But there's a lot, moving as much as I did and being in different school systems growing up, and then going through some of the stuff that I did with people and having to deal with narcissistic bosses and, you know, people that were friends or said that they were friends, that you figured out the manipulation that I don't even know if they understood they were doing it truthfully, because I think it was a spiritual thing. But knowing that I walked through a lot of that and being able to hug on all my girls that I met when we were filming,
It was
oh,
a
y'all just have a special part in my heart. You know it?
you must spend so many bars. We love you.
It just, to meet people and know that there are things in our stories that we all have come across, same story, different person.
Right.
Different outcomes, sometimes same outcomes, but to be able to sit there and learn from that and listen to it and go, that's an aha moment. How did
Right.
you get through that? You know,
Right.
how did you walk through that storm?
Right.
And why was that storm there?
Exactly.
What was being honed in you? What was being birthed in you? What was being changed in you? And what was the enemy trying to stop and destroy in
Come
you?
on now. Exactly.
And I think if it hadn't been for my faith, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
I mean, I know 110% I would not be here if it hadn't been for my strong walk and being able to see the enemy coming, whether I realized it was a red flag and chose to ignore it or pretend it was not red, it was orange, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Right? And, whether chose to do that or whether I chose to say, "No, that's it. I'm done," and learn that lesson. Everybody walks through stuff. And women that are called, and I think women that are anointed especially, we walk through a lot
Yeah,
because we're more powerful than people really realize.
exactly.
And once we get that, and once we understand who we really are and who we've been called to be, we're unstoppable.
Yes.
We have a way of sitting down and engaging with the Father and engaging his heart and him going, whew, okay, I'm going to answer that. There have been several times that I have walked through things and I didn't understand, but I knew that there was something good on the outcome or something that should be changed or whatever wielded through and learning that I had to walk through it regardless, and it was my posture that I chose to take which ensured where my heart was,
Yeah.
which ensured where my peace was, and learning how to not let people take that peace
Yeah.
even on days where I was angry and didn't know why I was angry, realizing that that was something spiritual going on and I needed to stop and do a check. Do a check. What am I feeling today? Why am I feeling that today? Yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
What has happened? I mean, and I have a lot of dreams too. So a lot of times when I know there's a shift coming, I'll start having crazy dreams, and I have to pick those things apart because if I don't, and I don't stop them in their tracks, if I realize that there's some spiritual warfare going on, I'll feel it for 3 4 days, and then I won't understand why, and then I'm like, oh wait, what was that dream about?
Mm.
Yeah, that wasn't a good dream. All right,
Right.
we got to stop this and break this now. But other than that, gosh, what would you like to know? What would you like to
That was just your introduction. I love the fact that you just went on ahead and went into it, so I just let you go.
Might be because we're kind of old friends.
Yes. But I do have some questions for you. So when
Okay.
we did meet on the gospel series with that
Okay.
one, I
Yeah.
want to know we did have a really heartfelt moment together when we had the filming at the realtor's location.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you truly moved me when we were sitting there talking about that piece of your
Mhm.
story, because I
Mhm.
know there's so much more to your story than that.
There
But
is.
if you would like to, is that something that you could share a little bit of with my loved ones? Because I know there are a lot of people out there that have not truly gone through that, so to speak, but they have some type of similarity from their perspective and their lifestyle that could probably touch them and reach them in a way of what you truly went through at that time, and how you came through and how you conquered that, if you would like to. If not, I understand completely and we can go to the next one.
No,
But
no.
okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
It took me a little bit to get over the fact that I had those big feelings.
Yeah.
I had moved back to Kansas. I had a broken relationship. I had sunk everything into everyone but myself. And I realized that I'm a Gen Xer.
Yeah.
And our biggest flaw, even though it's not always a flaw if we know where to put the boundary, is being a people pleaser, is being the one that takes care of, because we took care of everybody growing up. I was
Right.
the oldest sibling. I took care of my brothers when my parents were working. I did all the things, and there was an expectation being the oldest and being the girl, and you don't realize that you put that expectation on your kids until your kids start having problems. And I moved out here, I guess what, it's been almost 5 years ago. I couldn't get a job. I've never been without a job. Nobody wanted to hire me because I was overqualified for everything. I just needed a part-time job. Just needed a part-time job. Couldn't get a job. And then it was like all hell broke loose. But God had warned me that he was moving me. He had warned me that I would be going through some stuff. And it was super hard because my best friend, one of my One of my best friends from back home in Virginia, she and I were going through a week by week, step by step Bible study on Job. Job lost everything
Yeah.
within a week. He lost his kids. He lost his. I mean, he lost it all. His animals, everything. The tent came down, killed all of his kids. And they just said, "Well, they stole all your camels and your donkeys and everything else when they raided this, and then this happened and that." And he was set in a pit, and I felt that. I felt that with what I walked through. When you're told that you're good enough to do something for somebody, but you're not good enough to be around, when you're told that you're good enough isn't good enough, but yet you've done all the things and they're super successful, but you're not good enough. I sat there and oh my gosh, what is this? What am I going through? And I could not pull the depression off of me. No matter how hard I tried, it didn't matter. I worshiped in the middle of it. I danced in the middle of it. I have a book full of sermons and everything else, but to sit on the side of the river and think, I'm not good enough for anybody. And I got my kids, and my parents were here. I moved out here with my family to help my parents. I live in our family's farmhouse, my grandparents' farmhouse, so I'm on the homestead. But I felt like a failure. I felt like I wasn't worth anything. Nobody wanted me. It would just be better off if I just slid right into that river and let it just take me away. I never, in everything that I've walked through, in all the problems that I walked through with my husband, with my family, with, my second child, my first daughter, being born with cleft palate. She's a singer, but being born with cleft palate, having to deal with that when nobody knew. All of these crazy things that I've walked through that were so much harder than the destruction of isolation. That's what it was. It was the destruction of isolation and made to feel less than. And I thought, I'm just going to float down the river. I'm just going to end it all. They can find me down the river somewhere. It doesn't matter. And within that time frame, and I got my phone call, and he said, you sit right there. I am on my way. Don't you move. And then the first thing was, what are you thinking? The 5 minutes that he took to get to me was what are you thinking? I never, ever, 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 in all the stuff that I've ever walked through, had I ever had a thought of suicide, had it ever come across me. I didn't even entertain it. And I thought, why am I having this now? And that's when I realized that there was some spiritual warfare. And I had to cast that away. I had to cast the darkness. I had to cast the spirit of suicide. I had to cast away the depression. I had to cast away everything. And then this is what I realized in the moment. When we come up against people and they're in that pit. They are in that pit. You know what? We don't want to hear that our kids will be better off with us. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that we need to be here for the kids. We don't want to hear that we need to be here for them. We don't want to hear that we need to be here for them for anybody else. What we need is to be asked, what do you need? Because we can't put our finger on it. We cannot, in that moment, we don't know what we need. That's why we're there.
Right.
And if it hadn't been, and I'm almost 1,000% sure, if it hadn't been for the studying and being in the Word that I did and understanding the meaning of warfare and realizing that I was stepping into it because I had something on me that called me higher and greater, to speak life into women, to speak life into teens, to speak life and to come out and be different. If I didn't understand that, whoo, girl, the enemy understood.
Yeah.
That was his determination. He needed to stop me.
Yep.
And he doesn't even need to cause the depression. He doesn't need to cause the thoughts of suicide. He just needs to sidetrack most of us.
Right.
But realizing that there was a calling somewhere, I sat for a year and did nothing but study and speak to God and study and read his word and and he led me into the spiritual warfare realm. And I understood it from the dreams. I understood it from the spiritual side. I understood it from knowing in discerning, being able to discern if you have a spirit on you, if you don't, if this is just you being rebellious, all of it. He took me through all of that. And I've got notebooks full, and it scares the enemy, because if I can get free, then that means I can get you free.
Exactly.
And you can get free. And we come together.
Yeah.
1,000 to 10,000. What can 5 of us do?
Come on now.
What
Woo.
can 5 of us do?
That just ain't shit
And
fun.
we come against a lot of stuff, especially now. We're looking at it in the news. And some of this stuff is just horrific. I can't think of a time since I've been born where somebody's standing up for somebody else's rights, they just get shot. Now, granted, yeah, I'm sure it's there. It's like a Civil War thing.
Yeah.
But, to be somewhere and say, this is wrong, stop, and then say, well, this is so sorry, and you're here and then you're gone. We're not promised tomorrow. And we gotta get it right. And gosh, the pain of having to deal with a narcissist, having to deal with a covert narcissist. And I don't use that term lightly. I don't use narcissist lightly either.
Right.
Because everybody has tendencies.
Right.
But people, when they click more than one box, then that's what they are. But the covert narcissist is the one that everybody loves. And he's the one that, or even she, is the one that makes everybody think that you're crazy. Is the one that, and when you have been manipulated by someone like that, and you don't realize it because you have worked with them for so many years, and your working relationship is great. And then to hear, I replaced you, you really weren't worth it. They do for me the same thing that you did. I don't think so.
Highly doubt that. Yeah.
Well, and looking back at it, I knew what was going on, because if I had stayed in that situation back in Virginia, where I was from, I'd have died too. The toxicity of what was there, it would have killed me. I was sick. I was sick when I got here. My back was hurt. My ankles were hurt. I'd had a lot of upper and lower back problems, stress, everything else. And when I walked through all of that, and I got delivered from all of that, and I realized this was the enemy, and I went back, and they say that, when you talk to one another and you find that person that can be your safe space, that you can just tell them everything, and there's no judgment there.
Right.
And that safe space, when you can tell each other everything, you got your girlfriends and everything else, that you have that specific set, and there is no judgment, because all they're going to do is uplift you and hold you up in the middle of that storm. That's when you found your family. That's when you found the people that you need to be around. And when you're able to speak your truth, no matter how ugly it is, because I've got some ugly parts, but when you're able to do that in that safe space, and that heaviness comes off, my back unlocked, my pain went away, my ankles unlocked, my pain went away, I lost 40 pounds of weight. And like I said, I realize everything that I've been through, whether I put myself through it, or I allowed somebody to put me through it, or, I was wrong place, wrong time. Really, it's not, because you're learning lessons, but you feel it in the moment. I know I don't look like what I walk through.
Yeah.
And when you're able to detox all of that out of your body, when you're able to tell your story, it's amazing. It's amazing. Number one, how much better you feel. But number two, I think how many people you can help without even realizing it.
Exactly.
If I can get one person free, then I have done my job. Do I want a bunch? Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do. Because devil don't get to win. We already know his story.
Come on now.
But one person, if I can get free one person, then I've done it. If I can influence one person, then I've done it. And it's not because of me. It's because of who resides in me, and rewire my brain having to sit and literally tell myself, I'm the head and not the tail. I am his daughter. I am the daughter of a king.
Yeah.
I am, having to walk through all of the I ams with, this is who he says I am.
Yeah.
This is what he says I can do. Knowing that I carry a fighting spirit,
Yeah.
but I can quietly fight that. And you don't even realize it until it's already done. That's where we truly lay. And if more women could understand that we're here to uplift each other and we're here to hold hands, lock arms, pick up who we need to get them better, to get them out, then we would be so much further along than what we are.
Yes.
And I think life gets in the way. Well, I know life gets in the way. The grind gets in the way. Everybody that's around you gets in the way. You have to deal with people differently. And some people can do it and some people can't,
Yeah.
And to be able to look at somebody and go, that was my yesterday. This is me now.
Yeah.
You don't get to bring my yesterday back here.
Come on
He's
now.
already forgiven it. He's already dropped it. I'm already new. I'm already different.
Yes.
That's where you have to be able to be discerning to know that your group isn't the one that's going to come back in and say, well, remember when we used to? Yeah, I remember that, but that's not who I am now.
Exactly.
And the older I get, the more I realize, wow, we did some dumb stuff. But if we, right? If we hadn't walked through it, where would we be? If we hadn't walked through it, who would we be?
Exactly.
And I like the who I'm becoming. It's hard. It's not easy. It's hard. And I can't say that I haven't fallen, but I get back up.
Exactly.
And that's what we need to do. Get back up. Yep.
That is truly what matters. So what is your thoughts on, speaking of those friends that try to bring you back into that space and remember this, remember that, what are your thoughts on trauma bonding? Whether it's friendship or whether it's a relationship, or we can speak about both of them.
Right. I can speak to both of them too. That's awful.
No, it's not awful. It's life.
It is life. It is life. I got to think it through. So when you have friends that, like, I moved a lot when I was younger, a lot.
Yeah.
I think it was 23 different times before I was in 7th grade.
Wow.
23. It was worse than being an Army brat.
Man.
My dad worked for Walmart. He was an opening manager. So, we moved a lot because he opened Walmart stores.
Right.
I'm a 1970s kid.
Yeah.
But I learned early on, because we moved so much, that I didn't get to make permanent friends.
Yeah.
So it was very hard for me. I could be outgoing, I could be bubbly, I could be silly, but I did not have close friends. And when we finally moved and we were in Virginia, I finally had some close friends. And I made 2 in particular. One of them was manipulative. And the other one was too, just a little bit more under the table. I think they didn't realize it at the time, but you trauma bond to those people, because if they're going to tell you how much fun it is to be around you, how much they enjoy it because you're the new kid that came in and everybody knows their story, but you don't know their story. And if you're like me, you're not going to take their story from somebody else. You want to know the real them. So you're going to get to know the real them. And it wasn't until I got out of high school with both of these friends that one I realized was around, and the reason she acted the way she did is because she had a trauma she hadn't dealt with. And it was really hard because at one point I had to completely cut her off because I did not walk the same way she did. And not saying that there's anything wrong with what she was doing. It just did not jive with who I was and how I was and my integrity. And, it got ugly because she couldn't understand it. I finally had to say, I can't take the manipulation. I cannot take finding out that you're talking about other people the way you are and then talking about me. And, we parted ways. Are we cordial? Yeah, absolutely. I love her. At no point do I not love these people. I just don't love who I am with these people. So they can do all of the great things because I want them to. I want them to be set free. I want them to do all of the great things. I want them to be who they are, but they're just not going to do it in my bubble.
Right.
If they were to call me and say, hey, I need your help, I would absolutely help them because that's who I am. If I had the means, I would do it. The other one, we were friends for a long, 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 long time. And she was good to me. But what I didn't realize is that she would take my story and take my final story because I had stayed with her for a while, but she would take my final story because I felt comfortable enough to open up and tell her everything because she asked, and I felt like, out of all my friends, she would be the one that could handle it. And then I started hearing from acquaintance friends that she was saying stuff, and it wasn't kind, and it wasn't nice. And I, at that point, realized, okay, I see where this is going, and I see what this is doing. So in a way, it makes me very leery making friends. But in another way, if you want to talk about me, girl, talk about me because I'm going to give you my story. If you don't like it, tough. If you like it and you learn something, that's even better.
Right.
It's like I said, my story isn't pretty. There's a lot to me that isn't, but I bonded with her. She was one of my first friends. The other one was one of my first friends when I got here. Then when I realized that we weren't moving after 3 months, after a year, after 3 years, I had both of them. And then knowing that they turned around and destroyed other friendships that I had because they couldn't stand to share me, and learning that down the road in years, I think, why didn't I see that? And that trauma of feeling like every time you move, there's a little piece of me that felt abandoned because I wasn't able to make friends. And, you know, and I was always at home by myself with my brothers. And then, we would be there for 3 months and then we'd have to pick up and move, or we'd be there. I think the longest was 3 years that we lived in one place before we ended up in Virginia for the long haul. And, I became very selective. And one of my, I guess what we would say is one of my character flaws is I don't let people in.
Right.
I don't. They don't know the entirety of me
Right.
because I have been, see, this is why we get along.
Exactly. Exactly. That's like some of the most difficult things to do sometimes, especially speaking of what you just spoke about with those friends. That's one thing that just runs through your mind sometimes. And then it's just like you truly don't know what you're feeling when you're around a certain person, when you're really not in tune with yourself, but you feel something to where you're like, no,
Yep.
think I should be letting
Yep.
you in like that at all.
Right.
So you pull back and it's just no.
Right. Right. Yeah. And then you have them for years and years, and then you're like, ooh, that was a red flag. And I thought, no, but I really needed a friend. So maybe it was yellow and I can inch on through. No, no is no. No is a big red. No. And yeah, it took a lot. But the problem is if we don't understand, and this is what I'm learning now, if you don't understand the trauma you've walked through and you don't want to heal it, you just repeat it.
Yes, it's just
And
repeated lessons
yeah,
over and over
and
and over again. And they're really not lessons.
no,
Not paying
no.
attention to the
Because you're
quiz.
not paying. That's right. They're only a lesson when you break something off. What I tell everybody is I liken our cycles to a tornado.
Mm.
So a tornado comes through, big circle down to, little circle, big twister. And as you learn a lesson, you're going to go from being all the way sucked in and being all the way up here to all of a sudden getting it smaller and it being smaller and it being smaller until it dumps you out at the bottom. And you've either survived it and look a little worse for wear, or you haven't. But the longer you stay up in the middle of that, the longer you stay up in the hugest and largest part of that storm, the less of you there is,
Exactly.
because you're not learning that, because you have either the trauma has, it's that fight or flight or fawn. You've either fawned or you've and laid there and just stopped because you don't know where to go. You've either run and now you can't make the connections that you need to for the people that are good to you and good for you, because everybody's always had an agenda, because we didn't listen to our discernment to begin with. Or, you fight. You're always fighting. You're always and those same people in different faces, in different relationships, will always find you. And when you have a special anointing on you that you are starting to walk in, they will always come back around to see if there's a chink in your armor. And the only way to stop it is to heal. Different people heal differently. I had to get all of mine out. I had to tell everything. And I mean, it was everything from my first husband, and I was abused my first marriage, from the abuse that I withstood, and him treating me like I was a child. Oh no, she can't go and do this. Her chores aren't done. From that type of abuse and everything. That was a narcissistic trait. From dealing with that and then going into something that that was safe, but my body was so used to fight or flight that the safe felt bored. And then you ruin it, and it's not boredom, it's actually a safe space. From going from that to the other, and then realizing that you take a job, and then the bosses that you have or the best friend that you pick up along the way have those same tendencies. So what lesson haven't I learned? Or is it that I needed to stand up for myself? Or was it that I needed to lean more on the Father, because he said, lean on me and I'll help you fix it. Oh gosh. And I can't say that I'm 100%, because I'm not. None of us are. None of us. I don't think we ever will be. But the thing is we keep working towards that.
Yeah.
And I realize that I have a capacity, even when I get hurt, I have a capacity for kindness and love that I wouldn't trade.
Yes.
Ever, 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 ever.
That's another thing we bond on.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. I'm just love. And I know I'm love. I've always been love. Even when I was in my horrible stages of life, I still loved so much. And regardless how you have hurt me, what you have done, I'm always going to love you. But I understand and I learn how I need to love you. If I need to
Right.
love you far, if I need to just love you in a view and you're out of sight, whatever it is, I learn how I need to love you, but I will always love you regardless, because it was there and you just can't cut love off,
Mm-mm.
period.
No.
If you are one that doesn't know love, I just posted that the other day. What was it? 1 John 4:8.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever doesn't know love doesn't know God, because God is love.
It's love, yeah.
Oh,
And when he tells you to love your enemies,
come on
come
now.
on now, yeah, yeah. Mm. The first realization when I was going through all of that stuff where I about killed myself was that I had to lay it down at his feet, and I had to love him, and I had to take my friend who had just shattered me, and I had to lay them at his feet, and I had to say, I don't know what you have in store, but please save them. Please cover them.
Yes.
Please allow them to find you. Please, please, please. Even when I was mad, even when I was angry, even when I was going through the grief, the extreme grief that I was going through, I had one of my friends that he was very vocal in things with me, and I love him because he is so real. He is real as real as real as real. And he just finally said, you know what? If you don't give him to God, if you don't give him to the Holy Spirit,
Let go and
You're
let go.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not going to get better. And he said, it said you have to love your enemies. And I'm like, I know. And he goes, but you're not. He said, you're thinking like you got to be in the middle of it. He said, but you don't. He said, you don't. He said, loving them from afar. He said, love is a choice. It is not a feeling. And that's correct. The feelings come next. Loving somebody is a choice. You don't have to love what they do. You don't have to love who they are, but you
Right.
do have to love them because God created them with the same intent he created you.
Yes.
And that's one of his creations. And who am I to say that creation is not good?
Yes.
And once I understood that, it was easier for me to let those things go. I had to work through a lot of stuff, but in the long run, I understood that it was part of what I was walking towards, and part of what my calling was to be able to give you a hug and heal you.
I love that.
And
We can go so much more.
Mhm.
But I have a question that want to get out. One thing that I'm asking all my guests
Mhm.
have two favorite words in the whole wide world. What are those words, and do you know the definition? And if you don't know the actual definition,
Mhm.
give me your definition of those words.
Two of my most favorite words, and I don't use it enough. And it's a really crazy, wild, large word.
Okay.
It's pocritudinous.
Can you spell that for me?
No, I probably can't. Dinous, maybe? POC?
We gonna get it.
You'll find it.
That's
You
part
can
of
just speak it, it'll give it, but it
yes.
means beautiful, but it means beauty, more beauty than just beautiful.
Mm,
It is like grossly beautiful. It is like more beautiful than a spring morning with the sun coming up, more beautiful than the sunset that you have ever seen that looks like, an opal in the sky. It is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. And mhm, mhm. It's right. It's one of my favorite words. Don't use it enough. Enough. Don't use it enough. But it is. It's one of my favorite words. I think I heard it when my two oldest, that are now 26, 27, and 23, going on 24, when they were little, I heard it on one of the little TV shows, and I thought, I kind of like that word. And then when I found out that it meant more than just beautiful, that it meant like a beauty that nobody could even put to words, I liked it even more because there are so many things in our life that are that way, that are just awe inspiring, that we can't put to words. They might make us cry, but it's truly that beautiful moment. And so, yeah, that's one of them. Oh, gosh, a second one. I don't know. I say awesome a lot. I say awesome a lot. I notice I say awesome a whole lot.
I put
And
sauce of it. I always say awesome sauce.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, see, we tell our age when we start out. Awesome, awe-inspiring,
Yeah.
big, great, bold, and then when oh yeah, well, that's awesome. I mean, that's your negative one. But
Hey, a little sarcasm.
really, yes, those would be my two. I've never really thought about it, but Pocritudinous is probably by far my most favorite.
Pocritudinous. Oh my goodness. Thank you for that. Most definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now we are going to get into our mental health check-in questions. Are you
Perfect. I'm ready. Let's do it.
First question. How are you feeling today? Is there anything from yesterday that is bothering you today?
No, I'm doing good today.
Good.
Uh, I guess I hadn't even told you I blew out my knee, and yeah, and I'm having to have surgery the 20th of February. So I've been in a lot of pain back and forth. But, I've had to slow down what I'm doing. I've had to slow down with work and everything, and it's actually given me a better perspective. I feel great. My knee does not.
Okay.
I feel great.
Good.
But I had to realize, and I took it out. Yesterday was like the third day that I went into work, and I don't have to go into work until the afternoon because of my knee. But several months ago, God had told me to step it back, and I didn't, and I should have been obedient. Huh? So he made me. Yeah, so he made me obedient. But, I
Did
went
you
in yesterday. I was,
down the stairs? He made me fall down the stairs.
no, girl, I just stepped off the step. I'm old. I'm old.
No,
I stepped off the
fell
step.
down somebody else's stairs. I was like, what do I don't fall? What is this? I like whole layout body bruises up the side. I got marks on my hand. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I get it. No, I literally stepped off the bottom step coming down out of my bedroom because I have bedrooms upstairs. And my knee popped, and I was like, this is not going to be good. And all I did was sprain this one of my tendons. And then it was getting better, getting better. And at the beginning of January, we did a wedding show because I do rentals and
Right.
event equipment. Well, we were at the wedding show, and I was doing the pipe and drape with my boss and our workers and putting the booths together and getting the rentals for all the vendors. And my knee started hurting and burning and hurting. And by day 2, it was worse. I sat down pretty much the whole time while we were at the show in our booth. And I couldn't walk Monday.
No.
We were there Saturday, Sunday, all day. I worked like 12, 14-hour days.
Mhm.
And I had my knee brace on, being the good girl. I couldn't walk Monday. I couldn't even get up the stairs. It was bad. I couldn't walk Tuesday, so I called the doctor Tuesday. They got me in on that Thursday, and they were like, "Hey, guess what? You tore your meniscus. And by the way, you got spurs. Did you feel it?" And I was like, I didn't feel a thing. It was just burning, sharp pain, and then just pain the whole time. And they're like, yeah. So we figured you'd probably have to have surgery, but, and I was like, should have just done surgery back in
Hey,
September. So I couldn't figure out for like the last 3 days why I was so angry when I would go in to work. And I realized that it was because I was in pain
yeah.
and I was grumpy and I just didn't want to talk to anybody. And so today has been a good day. And now I got to talk to you. So it's even better. It's made me happier.
That is
But
what
yeah, I guess that was the residue of everything I was realizing that because I had to do that check. Why am I
yeah,
so angry today? What
exactly.
is this about?
And
I'm never angry.
so many people don't realize that they need to do that with themselves. They feel like that they society has made people feel that it's horrible to talk to yourself. No,
Right,
those are your best conversations, people.
right, right.
Like and then once you actually go in and you are actually in tuned with yourself, you
Mhm.
know what voice is coming into you, sweetie.
Right.
Oh, come
And
on.
sometimes, yeah, sometimes you have to block some of those voices. You're like, "Ooh, where did that one come from? Why did I let that in?
Right.
Ooh, where did I pick that up? That's got to go." Yeah, absolutely.
Most
Absolutely. I've started something new and I spend 15 minutes a day, sometimes a little bit longer, but it's reading and prayer and I've built a prayer closet and all that. And do you think the enemy's happy about that? Absolutely not.
definitely not.
So, yeah, so why is everything else, why does it surprise me? It doesn't. I
Right.
just have to remind myself to be in tune and be
Yeah,
aware.
most
Yeah.
definitely.
And this morning I was aware, hey, weird. Why? Why am I angry? Well,
Right.
because your knee hurts,
Yeah.
because you can't walk right.
Yes, you're
And
going
then
through something.
you're a Gen Xer that doesn't take no for an answer. And let's see, you can't do all the things that you had been doing, and you have
Right.
to sit down at work. So I wonder why you're angry.
Most definitely. Okay,
Yeah.
second question. What thoughts are running through your mind?
Right. I have even having this injury. I'm excited about what is being birthed right now.
Mhm.
I'm excited about what's going on and where I'm being led and what I'm being led to do. I'm I'm just, it's like you can taste the excitement in the air. I know there's a shift. I can feel that shift coming.
Yeah.
I know that there is something more. I get paid by the hour and I'm not working full time now
Yeah.
at all. And which is really bad when you got car payments and, house payments and everything else. But knowing that because I wasn't the obedient child that I should have been when he said, "Hey, I need you to step it back." But knowing that I'm sitting in that obedience now because I can see where I'm supposed to be going
Yeah.
and what I'm supposed to be doing, and he knows, God knows, I have to just give me step by step. Don't give me the whole road because I will try to be like the rabbit and figure out how to get there faster and not learn my lesson. But I have peace. I
Yeah.
have this crazy, crazy peace. But not having to go in early in the morning allows me more time in my prayer closet, allows me more time in study, but it also allows me to do things for others when they call me. It allows me to pray for them. It allows me to speak life into them. It allows me to sit with them and just listen. And I like that. I like that. And it's not anything for me. It's just a piece of knowing that I'm finally back in the right track where I needed because I got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, he doesn't have to kill us if he can sidetrack us from
Exactly.
our where we're supposed to be.
I call it removing me from my home. Whenever I
Mhm,
actually come back to where I know my path and my journey is leading me, I call
mhm.
that home. So when enemy can try to sidetrack you from going that path to actually going to your front door,
Oh yeah.
they
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because you gotta think about it. If you're not there and you're not in your home and you're not doing what you've been called to do and you're not doing what you've been anointed to do,
Hey,
then he's done his job.
most
Because
definitely.
you're out here somewhere and you're
Oh,
supposed to be back there somewhere. And
exactly.
he's like, I don't even have to worry about them. Doesn't even matter if they go and do praise and worship because they're not on the right path anyway. He
Exactly.
doesn't have to he doesn't have to do anything because we're off kilter. And but when we get on kilter and we start to be consistent and consistently where we're supposed to be, it gets hard. But the more effort you put into it, the less it feels hard, even when it is hard. Yeah.
Yes, most definitely. Well, you actually answered number three already as far as how your body feels.
Yeah. It feels great. But my knee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Feels great. But my knee. Yeah. It's and I played softball. I was a weightlifter and a bodybuilder. I was not a runner because if you see me running, then you best run too because that means something's gonna be chasing us.
Exactly.
But I was a catcher for softball, so it wasn't like I was weak, so to speak, in any way, shape, or form. But just it's us forgetting that the older we get, there's different things that we have to do to keep ourselves safe and in shape.
Exactly.
And, just that craziness of just it was out of the blue. And I thought, uh-oh, okay, God, what are you showing me now?
Mhm.
So it's all right. It's all
Yeah.
good. Sometimes, little Miss Disobedient has to get it back in line.
As
But
long as you are aware and you know that you have been disobedient and you get yourself back together and be like, okay,
mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, we're going to get back on track. I'm going to listen. I'm going to sit. I'm going to be still. I understand.
Please tell me what you said 2 months ago because I don't think I was listening well. But now that I have to sit still, I'm
Exactly.
gonna listen. Yeah, that's yes, yes, 100% yes, yes. Sometimes he has to knock us out to get our attention.
Come on. Oh, man. Okay. Number four.
Okay.
Who, who or what do you need to support your mental health today?
You know what, girl? We're doing it. We are.
I just love it. That's always my answer. I just love this. It's
I do
just
too.
be needed so much, whether you're listening, whether you're actually involved, whether whatever it is, people need to be engaged. We need each other. Like I have posted something on the Affirm Peace Instagram page. I'm doing this. I have this app called Imprint, and it has so
Mhm.
many different courses in it. And I'm on one of the ones that I'm doing is called, was it A Guide to Your Mental Health? And it talks about the centurions in Okinawa and how one of the things that they have is they thrive and continue to be together off of community and coming in and get
Right.
community and having tea together and having those times to laugh and having the times to dance and be in your garden and just being a community together and everybody loving on each other and understanding that we need each other and
Yeah.
we're all one. So if we are separated and divided, what do you really think is going to go on? All this nonsense you hear in the news right now, that's what's going to go on when we are divided like that and not truly coming together and being one and being loved the way that we need to be. They even have a system to where they come together and everybody puts a certain amount of money in a pot so that way if somebody ever gets in hard times, they don't feel ashamed about letting the community know, hey, I either just lost my job and I need some help with the rent or with groceries or something for the child. And they have this pot of money set off in their community to where you can come and you can get that assistance to where nobody wants or
Mhm.
asks for anything. And I
Right.
think that is so beautiful. And if we just took that concept from their culture throughout the whole world, how much
Right.
beautiful this
You
world.
want to you want to hear something that's funny? That's an Acts 31 church. They went from place to place. They bought and they sold and they gave, and nobody went without.
Yes.
And I say this, I tell this to people all the time because I'll run up against people and they'll ask me, "What is so different about you?" And then, I share, "Well, I know Jesus and, he's my savior and he is Lord. And sometimes I fall down and sometimes I'm a hot mess and sometimes I'm good, but he's never left me without." And what I see is when I am able to do for someone else or give of my time, give of my love, give just the capacity to just sit and be. If we would do that more instead of worry about who they are, but remember whose they are,
Yes.
we could solve so many problems. And there's always going to be push and pull back. There's always going to be somebody that says ugly things. There's going to be somebody that says beautiful things.
Yes.
But, being who we are and knowing that we've walked that walk, and I'm able to say, I don't have the money, but what I do have is I do have groceries for you.
Yes.
Or I don't have this, but what I do have is I am off that day and I will take you wherever you need to go.
Exactly.
That's community.
Yeah.
And being able to be a safe space, not everybody gets to be a safe space. Not everybody can be a safe space, but learning that even though we have walked through some ugly stuff,
Yes.
we can put ourselves in situations we probably shouldn't, but in the end, it's going to work to our good.
Yes.
We may not like it. It may not feel good. It may not look good, but in the end, it will be good. And that's promised to us.
I've
Yeah.
had several situations. Oh my goodness, several situations of that nature. And it just and I feel the people that feel that shift that's coming on right now are those ones that have been in those those so
Yeah.
many of those trials and tribulations.
Right.
And we're at that point to where God is just like, okay,
Mhm.
you're listening. That's why I'm telling you to be still. That's why I'm making you fall and trip over stairs because I need you to sit down and listen so that way I can give you the blessings that is promised to you. But you have no idea the abundance that is about to occur because what you are wishing and desiring is going to be 10, 20, 100 fold than what you can even imagine. It's about to be a
Right.
very beautiful time. And
Yeah.
those that have that light and that spirit and that sorry, it's
I
just
know
beautiful.
you're geeking out. You're geeking out. I know. I do too. When you get around people that you, for no reason at all, have no idea why they make you feel good,
Yeah,
you're with the people you're supposed to be around.
I
And
call
when
it
you get around those ones that give you that little bit of a, you can ask the questions, you can be there, you can do, but they're not supposed to be in your circle, then you don't put them in your circle.
exactly.
But you ask for them to be blessed. You
Yes,
ask for them to find God, and
yes,
you ask for them to be safe,
yes.
because He's the only one that can change all of that. We
Only
just have to listen.
hmm
We just have to listen.
yes,
And there's a lot of people that, and I'm sure you're the same way. You've got a similar story that we've left along the wayside because we've had to.
most
We've
definitely,
had to.
most definitely.
And a lot of them don't want to take the change that we have done because they are not ready to change either.
No, they're not.
They want to stay stuck in what was because they still see what was as the best in their life. That's not how life is. It's supposed to get better and better. It's not supposed to be easy,
Mm-mm.
but it's supposed to get better. And
Yes,
you're supposed to enjoy those days as they come. And if you're not, then you need to ask yourself, what is it that I'm not getting? What is it that I've not seen? What is it that I've not learned that's giving me this withhold?
yes,
And it's kind of what I call it. Why is this withhold here?
right.
And some of it is us.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we get in our own way. And
Most,
other times it's not learning that lesson. But in all of it, I mean, I love people.
yeah,
I can be peopled out and I will need to go back and recharge and be quiet. But, other than that, I love people. I love one-on-one. I love group stuff. I love you. I love doing this with
yes,
you.
most definitely.
And yeah, and it's hard when you are community based and you've been hurt to be able to trust. But then again, then you meet those certain ones that God puts right in your path and says, hey, you can trust this one.
Right,
You can tell this one what you need to.
right,
You can, say whatever, and whatever comes out of it is what comes out of it. It
right.
doesn't matter. You cannot hurt me any worse than what I've hurt myself.
Come on now. Oh my goodness.
And what I have found, and I've been in the situation where I've been talked about so ugly and talked about so bad and slandered even, that if I just shut my mouth, my true character and my integrity comes out, and who I truly am comes out. And I don't have to say anything. My
Yes.
daddy takes care of it.
Come on now.
He says, I'll fight your battles. Vengeance is mine. And he
Always.
does a way better job than what I can ever do.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes I watch that job that he does and I cry over it because, whew, that was a little more harsh than what I would have done. But, they apparently needed it for their lesson.
Most
But
definitely.
I didn't have to do. I can walk away. I can walk away with a clear conscience and a clean heart, knowing that I gave all of it over to him and asked Daddy to take care of it.
Most definitely. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, what a great way to end this.
Missed you
So,
on weekends, but you always have what, basketball and everything else going on with the
I
kids?
literally just came from a basketball game.
Yeah, so I'll have to come in town. We'll have to get together. So
Definitely, we most definitely will. Okay, so thank you so much for coming on Affirm Peace. This was beautiful, so beautiful. Thank you.
absolutely.
Oh, and I did want to share while you were speaking about the getting better, the one quote that I truly love that they use for auto suggestion was named Emile Coué. I believe I pronounced it that last name. He's French. Every day in every way, I am getting better and better. I say that every AM and every night before I go to bed, and just better and better every day, regardless what part of your life
Mhm.
is in. You're getting better and better every single day in every way. So I just want to leave that there.
I love it.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on to Affirm Peace. And to my loved ones, thank you for tuning in. We truly appreciate you. Thank you for listening to Miss Cat's story. I love her so much. I have no idea. Yes, thank you. So always remember, we don't beg, we don't chase, we embrace with grace. And always remember to affirm your peace. Girl Rebirth, aka Tim B. I love y'all, and we out.